Hello, welcome to the University of Law. Welcome to this unboxing and review video of Doctor Who, The Seventh Doctor, The Last Day, Part 1. So you'll just see from the front cover here, we've got the vast array of characters who return for this for this story. This box set contains the first 6 episodes of the 12-part epic, which is always, as it mentioned, is taking place on the last day of the Seventh Doctor, leading into events of the TV movie, presumably. What's clever about this story is that it builds on a lot of the story arcs we've had with the Seventh Doctor in recent years. I did a video on this. I think I was so overwhelmed with how much I enjoyed it, because I did have high expectations of it. I was looking forward to it, but it surpassed even those expectations. It's one of those things where I think it had been floated a few years ago. What did the Seventh Doctor do on his last day? So clearly they've been planning it for a long time, and in the extras we found out that is true. So it's been on the radar, and we've all kind of known that maybe it was coming up soon, especially after the Sixth Doctor, the last day. I remember I did a video a couple of years ago. It might have even been this time last year. It was this time last year I did a video about speculating that we might get the Eighth Doctor last day, Seventh Doctor last day, Ninth Doctor the first day, War Doctor the last day, that kind of thing. And we're seeing this happen, so maybe we'll get it for the other Doctors, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So yeah, I really enjoyed the story, and I'll kind of go through what it links to in a moment. But you can see the characters on the front. We've got Mel, we've got the Master, we have got, I forgot this character's name. She was trained by the Master, so that was a nice link back to one of Guy Adams' third Doctor scripts. We've got Ace, of course, couldn't have the Seventh Doctor's final story without Ace. We've got the two companions from that kind of the black and white TARDIS saga. We've got Benny Summerfield, of course. We've got, is it Dog Bolter? I've got his name now. And of course, not forgetting Kane from Dragonfire. So it's bringing all the kind of classic stories together. So yeah, it's definitely a farewell to the Seventh Doctor in terms of wrapping up his TV arc, but it's doing it in a way that kind of takes all the key steps along the way. So it's a little bit like the Sixth Doctor, The Last Day, as a box set was quite fun, because they basically had 4 separate stories set throughout the Sixth Doctor's life, and they were kind of like tent poles, and each kind of story was a sort of tent pole in his life that was drawing him towards his regeneration. Well, what's clever with the Seventh Doctor, The Last Day, is that rather than have one set that kind of has these stories collected together, is that it's organic. We're literally taking the stories that have been told over the last 25 years from Big Finish Productions, and taking the temples that exist there. So obviously looking at Dragonfire being a temple, Survival being a temple, and then from there I would say it's very much looks at what happened in Hex's final story. We had I've gone completely blank. It was Protect and Survive. I've gone completely blank. Gods and Monsters. So Gods and Monsters is clearly a temple, which is kind of referred to with these 3 characters, and obviously what then happened in the Hex trilogy, where he comes back in Afterlife of the trilogy that followed. So that's another kind of temple. Obviously the new adventures it links to. But then of course the big temples, looking at Mel, would be the Quantum Possibility Engine, Dog Bolter and Mel. Obviously the TV movie, The Master, of course, so I'm guessing that's going to be a link in. Master going to be put on trial. I'm guessing we'll get the Daleks the next story to put the Master on trial. And then the big tentpole recently was Dark Universe, and there's lots going on, and I'll link you to my previous review, but there's an awful lot going on in this story that links back to all those temples, and in particular to Dark Universe and to the Quantum Possibility Engine, which I think Adams had a say in both of them. I think he was overseeing the Seventh Doctor range at the time. So yeah, really does. It's a really clever story, and if anyone can listen to this story, but it does reward anyone who's followed this arc. I'm doing a series of videos later on this year all about where my ideal starting points are for each Doctor, and I will say in those videos that Seventh Doctor, probably my least favourite on television initially, when I kind of first watched them all. Whereas on audio, I was completely blown away, and I just love Sylvester McCoy's portrayal of the character, and I just love the development and the arc that the Seventh Doctor's been on audio. And I think the Seventh Doctor, Ace and Hex are probably one of my favourite runs of stories, next to perhaps the run of stories which had Nyssa return to the TARDIS crew alongside the Fifth Doctor. Turlo, and Tegan. So without further ado, I've been waffling on for 5 minutes now. Let's get the box open. That's really my review. I think that's really all I'm going to say. I can't really do it disc by disc like I normally do because there's not a story per disc. It is one, well, it's not even one long story, it's half a story because we're still waiting for part 2, which comes out in a few months' time. But where was I going with that? Yeah, and the big thing is I've done my review already. I think I was so blown away, I reviewed it there and then. What is happening with this? Trying to get the cellophane off. Yeah, this came out in December, very late December, and of course I'm getting it, I'm recording this on the 2nd of February, so it's just arrived by post. I'm in terrible trouble getting it open. There we go, right. Get the rest of this off. There we go. Right, let's get that rubbish out of the way. So yeah, we've got a better look at it there with the cardboard sleeve. It's lovely artwork. They haven't announced or released the second set yet, so that'd be interesting to see the part 2 artwork. I'm looking at this for the first time properly. I've literally just thrown it out of the box and put it in front of the camera. So we've got the 7th Doctor on the side, The Last Day Part 1. And on the back, we've got the cast list. We've got our synopsis directed by Samuel Clemens. Let's give this a go now. Let's see if I can get this. Will be the next challenge. Getting the disc out of the slipcover. There we go. Got it. Right. So once again, we got the same artwork on the front. Interestingly, on the side, and I think, yes, it says it on here, I didn't notice that, it does say Volume 4, because it's the 4th in the rebooted 7th Doctor range, rather than 1 and 2 out of this particular range. Okay, so here's disc 1, episode 1 and 2 by Kai Adams, Matt Fitton, and oh, that's nice, we've got the classic logo and font there for the 7th Doctor. This Master, of course, also featured the 7th Doctor stories, Dust Breeding, when the Anthony Anybody was lost and returned to being this Master. And then the Epic Master, which I guess would be another real tentpole, I guess, in not just the 7th Doctor story, but in the character development of the Doctor in general. It was a really good character piece for both the Doctor and the Master and their relationship. Yeah, and there's a bigger copy of the artwork there, and a proper cast list on the back. I'm just looking now. Was it Dog Bolter? I think it might be Garandel, actually. I can't see it now. And Vienna, of course, is in the set, who had a trilogy across the 5th, 6th and 7th Doctors, with her finale being in the 7th Doctor era. Not so much a tentpole for 7th Doctor necessarily, but certainly a key story. So here we've got episodes 3 and 4, also written by Guy Adams and Matt Fitton. And then finally, disc 3, episodes 5 and 6. We've got a advert for Far From Home. I am surprised, actually, because Far From Home, if you look at the artwork, it's clearly set towards the end of the 7th Doctor's life. And he travels with Harry Sullivan and Naomi Cross. And I did think that it would continue from that set, because it's set at the end of his life. I thought he would be travelling with Harry and Naomi when this adventure took place, and that would wrap up his arc, because it's set around the same time. But that hasn't happened yet. Maybe we'll kind of see them appear, because it's unusual. They're one of the only companions that haven't been brought back, so maybe we'll see them come back in parts 7 to 12. there we go. What did you think of this story? Has your CD copy arrived? If you've ordered one, do let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.